if you are at an airport, I think you really need to have a kit with yourself of the kind of things that you should be aware of. If you're flying anywhere around Delhi, to Delhi, or from Delhi, then rest assured that your experience may well be very, very tumultuous. The Ministry for Civil Aviation now has come up with a very clear-cut protocol, standard operating procedure, what needs to be done by airlines. The reality is this, folks. Private airlines in India, honestly speaking, do not keep the convenience of passengers as a premium. Now, I'm not making any populistic statement. Just ask yourself. Every time you've gone on an app, Make My Trip, Clear Trip, whatever, and if you make a booking and then you choose for some reason to cancel that booking, have you ever understood, have you ever figured out how much money you lose? So either at the outset you're willing to insure your ticket, but if the flight gets delayed, you honestly have no recourse, because in the ticket which is issued by the airline, there are two clauses that you will be compensated to some degree only and only if it is a delay which is due to a fault of the airline. Now, fog is not due to a fault of the airline. So, force majeure clause, which is a part of most insurance claims, most insurance services that you may be using, that's something which is used by airlines very, very effectively. And that is why the anger, the angst that we're seeing of passengers from across the country, that angst gets justified because of these clauses. Now, Jyotirtha Scindia has set up a war room. Mr. Scindia, the Civil Aviation Minister, says that if you're flying anywhere, certainly amongst the major metro airports, there needs to be a war room to take care of passenger requirements. Passenger requirements are very simple. We need some clear-cut communication. There is no way in hell that a flight can be delayed by 10 hours or 11 hours and the passengers can just be asked to go fend for themselves. When things go wrong, when the chips are down, how is the airline company treating you? How is the airline company looking after your interests? That's where I think this story really needs to be told. So what do you need to do? That when you book a ticket, you need to look at the ticket booking carefully. You need to look at what will be the amount that will be refunded to you should you cancel a ticket. What is it that you should be paying should you want to have some flexibility? Suppose you don't want to fly tomorrow and you have a ticket which you book. You want the flexibility of changing your ticket. Well, then you got to be ready to pay a little more at the outset itself. That's where most passengers end up being fooled. Can the present Civil Aviation Minister really unleash a mass information-based campaign for everyone to know what do you really need to do? If you're stuck on an airport for 10 hours, how is it that you can hold the airline culpable? How is it that you can hold the airline accountable? Right now, because of the public outcry, most certainly we do not support violence being unleashed against airline crew members. We don't support that. But at the same time, we don't want private airlines also to take consumers like you and me for a ride. Private airlines in India have had a good run. The Indian economy, we're being told, is on a good flight. The air travel itself has now crossed the lines of pre-COVID 2019 levels. So you could well argue that maybe more people are taking to the skies. Well, if people are taking to the skies, people will also demand greater accountability. And it's time, I think, that private airlines start appreciating that. Reality is, at this stage, they're not. Do tweet, do send me a DM. If you've been a flyer who has had a harrowing experience anytime over the last couple of days, you can send me a message. We'll try and include you in our next broadcast.